Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to DG Capital. Is Windsor Canada's hottest housing market? Well, let's find out. Windsor's real estate market is red hot. According to local residents, they have never seen housing prices rise rapidly so high in the region. According to the Canadian Real Estate Association, the average price of a home in Windsor is over $400,000 right now. That's an increase of over $65,000 or 20% compared to June of 2019. Question is, why is the market so hot suddenly? Part of the reason is that the price increase is now reflecting a large demand of buyers from outside the region who can work from home and work remotely and no longer find it necessary to live in a city like Toronto. To me, this makes sense. If you have a flexible work arrangement and can work remotely or anywhere, you are now location independent. You can work from anywhere, so why not take advantage and move to a lower cost of living area, buy a bigger property if that's your goal, for the same price you would buy a condo. This also works for renters. The average rent for a 2-bedroom in Toronto is $2,700 and only goes up from there. You could potentially own a property in Windsor and redirect that rental payment to cover your mortgage and other expenses. Take a look at this article from the CBC. It goes over how a real estate investor from Oakville, Ontario moved to Windsor in 2017 because of the comparably lower prices in the region, and today now owns 5 rental properties. And people are taking advantage. This gives you insights on why the region is so red hot. The coronavirus has expedited the timeline for more companies to go digital. If you have a laptop and an internet connection, you're good to go. Now, obviously this can't work for everyone, but those in a situation that can take advantage, there are opportunities to change your scenery. What else makes Windsor so attractive? Well, if you are looking to get away from the hustle and bustle of a large metropolitan area, Windsor is much more on the quiet side. Shh. The weather is slightly warmer than Toronto, but much warmer than another red hot housing market, Ottawa. In fact, Windsor has one of the warmest climates in all of Ontario. The city has extensive riverfront parks, adding to some great scenery in the area. Also, one of the safest cities with low violent crime rates. Once you start putting the pieces together, you can see why Windsor would be a plausible area of the country to experience a housing boom. There are some pros to this local housing boom. Professionals who no longer need to live close to where they work will be bringing their salaries to Windsor, assuming they're working remotely. There would be money being pumped into Windsor's local economy via taxes, restaurants, shopping, etc. On the flip side, local residents may suffer in the short term due to increased housing costs, but there is long-term potential that the extra funding can help Windsor's infrastructure and support local businesses. In my opinion, the problem is mainly with people, local and out-of-towners, who are buying up real estate and renting out those properties at prices most locals cannot afford. This really drives an imbalance in local economics and hurts those just getting by. The housing affordability crisis in Canada really puts a lot of pressure on those that do not own or are trying to or have to renegotiate a rental lease at some point. This is why some people are waiting and hoping for a major market crash or correction just to take the pressure off them. I did a video recently on my thoughts on the pending Canadian housing crash, link in the description. You would think that with a global pandemic and with some 1.8 million Canadians still out of work, the housing market will inevitably correct itself or at least flatten out to better reflect the state of our new economics. Let's face it, money is cheap, ridiculously cheap. Just recently, the Bank of Canada lowered its 5-year conventional mortgage rate from 4.94% to 4.79%. This is the second time the Bank of Canada has reduced the qualifying rate in the last 3 months. As mortgage costs have declined, naturally, people are going to borrow more on the same income. In fact, they are. Excessive debt has now become our norm. If you want to own a property in a rapidly rising real estate market and your income hasn't gone up that much, then your only option is to borrow more money. This acceptance of excessive debt has been a contributing force driving up real estate prices. Great for those that own, but not so much for those on the other side of the fence. With the pandemic and shutdowns, more people have been spending time indoors. People want backyards. They want to be able to step outside their front doors directly to the street. No more hassle of going up and down and cramming into elevators. No more finding that one designated parking spot in a multi-level underground garage where you can just park anywhere on your driveway. The suburbs have become a lot more attractive, especially if they cost only half as much as the GTA. But that doesn't mean the demand for the GTA's housing market is going anywhere. There are still plenty of buyers and investors who are solely focused on the GTA. It's not because of the virus that buyers are all of a sudden looking at Windsor. According to Remax, buyers from the GTA have been a prevalent force impacting Windsor's housing market over the course of 2019. It's just that the virus and shutdowns have increased the flow of buyers spilling into other regions from higher density cities, leading to a surge in demand. The report goes on to mention that the region was and continues to be an attractive option for retirees and young professionals seeking affordability relative to the high prices of the GTA. Move-up buyers will continue to drive demand in the region. Depending on which forecast you follow, some forecasts are calling for continued increases of 10% for the next 5 years in the region. Southern Ontario is witnessing some incredibly strong price appreciation, with some regions seeing double-digit gains. It's almost crazy to think that the average price of a home in Windsor just a few short years ago was only $200,000. If you're considering packing up from a larger city and planning to work remotely from a city like Windsor, here's some thoughts to keep in mind. From the employer perspective, will they let you move to a lower cost of living area with the same salary as a higher cost of living area like the GTA? If location doesn't matter to the employer, would they start looking to outsource more jobs? What happens if your employer wants you to come in every now and then to the office from Windsor to Toronto? Will you be able to make that commute work? If you do plan to move to a further away, low cost of living area, but continue on with the same employer, make sure you understand all the risks involved, as the employer can change their mind. It's important to keep the lines of communication open with them at all times. Something else to keep in mind, pre-COVID, back in January of 2020, Windsor had the highest unemployment rate out of any other municipality in Canada at 8.3%. So if you do need to switch jobs later on, make sure to take the stat into consideration. Or maybe you have a backup plan in mind, such as starting a business that you've always wanted but never had the opportunity in Toronto, but now you can in a new area like Windsor. No matter where you're looking to buy, whether in the GTA or on the southwestern end of Ontario. Or even if you're not interested in buying and want to continue renting, think about your month-to-month budget. Always have a cushion in there, because you never know what kind of hidden expenses are about to show their face. You don't want to be underwater when it comes to personal finance. And that's it for today. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe and like button. Let me know your thoughts about Windsor's housing market. Will this benefit Windsor in the long run? In the comments below. As always, please share this video to help support the channel. And I'll talk to you guys next one.